Hi everyone, it's Bianca Bam Bam Elmir. I'm really looking forward to speaking to Paula McGrath on Pure Grit. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Pure Grit with Paula McGrath. If you search the word grit, you'd see that it means to have courage, show strength of character, passion and perseverance. Throughout the series, Paula will chat to guests from all walks of life who have shown pure grit to get to where they are now. Paula, yeah, look, your hair looks fine. I've done the intro, so ready for you to talk now. Yeah.
On Pure Grit podcast today, I have the little firecracker. I think a pocket rocket, I would call her. I'm very excited because I have a passion for her sport. Bianca Bam Bam Elmir is Australian flyweight boxing champion. Yes, Bianca? You've had it.
Well, currently now I'm a featherweight professional champion, but
featherweight.
Champion. Yeah.
She's aiming to be the first Australian amateur world champion, which I have a little inkling in my bones that you are going to do it. She's devoted to her faith of Islam, but not your stereotypical Muslim. She's a true individual, that is for sure, with pure grit. Please welcome Bianca Bam Bam Elmir.
Thank you.
Hi, Bianca. Wow,
Hello.
Bianca, you are. I just finished watching your documentary, Bam Bam. And I have to say, you are one gutsy individual, incredible individual. I really, really admire you. I think you are someone who I'm going to say definitely is going to be our first world champion. I can see it. I can feel it. I just think you're close to getting there. You've been fighting a few demons within yourself, I think, like fighting yourself a little bit. But let's start at the story of you, because I don't think a lot of people will know of you, about you, Bianca. I think everyone will know of you, and the whole of our country and world will know of you. But let's start. You have had a pretty, your childhood. Were you born over you were born in Saudi Arabia, is that right?
Yeah, I was born in Riyadh, the capital
Riyadh,
of Saudi
yes.
Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the capital. So I was just born there. My dad was working there at the time as an electrical mechanical engineer.
Yes.
So my parents were still married then. So they just went over there because he was just working.
So they're both Australian. Or
well, my mum's Australian. My dad's
Australian. Right.
Yeah. So so they just moved over there, and I was born there.
And then you went back to Lebanon, correct?
Yeah, and then my parents divorced. I think I was about 2 years old, and then I was sent to live with my dad's parents whilst my dad still lived in Saudi Arabia. And why were you taken, or why was your mum not able to have you? Like, is that just...
Yeah,
I'm not really sure. I think it's her family didn't really want her to take responsibility of me. I think it's all a bit foggy.
It's all a bit foggy. You don't have a clear answer to that.
Yeah, well, I just haven't really had a clear answer.
You never have.
Yeah, I don't really understand. I think it was my dad's preference and my mum's family's preference.
Right.
So that I was just, so then I just was put in a little village in Lebanon with my grandparents. And then my mum kidnapped me when I was about 2 and a bit, I think.
So she didn't
last to Australia.
She didn't last very long not having you with her. And I guess that's something most mums like myself would understand. It would be a very tough situation.
Yeah, she was agonized by the decision.
Absolutely.
So she just made a choice to steal me one weekend. She had a visitation right, and then she took me on a trip to go get lollies or something like that. That's how she explained it. And then she just took off to Beirut airport and said she's never coming back, and then got on a flight and then called her parents from the city saying she's not coming back. Then she went into a bit of hiding, in Australia. I don't think she spoke or really contacted her family for another 7 years or so.
Right.
And then
so where did you grow up in Australia with your mum?
Yeah, so then she lived in Melbourne for a bit with me, and then she moved to Canberra, and then got put on public housing, and then just waited for that, and then got into the public service, and then has just led a life in the public service, supporting me.
So have you had any relationship with your dad?
Yeah, since then I met him when I was about 19, was the first time I met him. And we've since had very brief communication. So we just see each other. He's now in Australia, actually, which is the irony of it all. But
really?
I see him in Sydney every now and then, like once every few months. I don't know, I don't actually see him very once. I've seen him maybe twice in the last couple of years.
So have you healed that with your mum? Healed that your mum took you and brought you to Australia? Do you see the blessing in that?
Yeah.
Or is it something
I think it was my mum has a lot of trauma, and she was mostly just surviving, and in trying to survive became very headstrong, and there was a lot of control, and I felt very emotionally removed from Diana growing up. And that I held on to that anger for a very long time. I also felt indebted to my mum that I owed her something because she kidnapped me, and I think it was implied as well that I did owe her everything for everything she'd sacrificed for me. And I remember hearing it over and over again, and I remember just thinking, I didn't ask you to take me, and I don't know what to do for you anymore. So I think for my mum, she struggled quite a lot with trying to negotiate all of those things, plus raise me, plus stay on top of everything financially. So my mum has had to battle herself her entire life, and that's the role modeling I've seen my whole life.
Right. So with you now becoming a champion boxer, you think of your upbringing and your childhood, is that where you got your fire? You certainly have some severe fire in you. You're an incredibly driven girl. You've got you have grit. You've got the guts and the grit. Like I was listening to an interview with you, and you say, oh yeah, I like punch someone in the face and seeing their neck go back like a Pez dispenser. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like you, I don't know. I love boxing, and I boxed for 14 years, but I don't think I could ever fight, even though I probably could have, because but you've got it. You can just get in that ring and get punched in the face. And you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, because it's my shadow side that I've made peace with, and I allow her to be expressed in this sport called boxing. And I have never shied away from violence or that inner strength and resilience that is required to stand in front of someone and fight them.
It takes a lot, and you're exactly right. It's that inner strength, and you're showing your true character. And I'm sitting here chatting with you now, and you have a denim jacket on, a scarf around your neck, cool earrings. I don't feel like I'm chatting or meeting a Muslim, or what I think as an Australian non-Muslim. You come across as, you're just like the girl next door, but yet your mum, Diana, wears a hijab, and probably all your family, and you don't. No one, I wouldn't walk along the street or see you at boxing and think that, oh, Bianca's Muslim. How do you go with all of that, with your family? And
well, I guess unless I get the word Muslim tattooed on my forehead, it is just a personal belief that unless you unpack some of those layers, you wouldn't know. But for me, faith is really important to me, and I don't wear it in the traditional sense in terms of putting a headscarf on my head, but I definitely wear it in my values and how I see my belonging and sense of connection in this world that we inhabit. So for me, I don't let other people dictate what it is to be Muslim, and that is Muslims themselves as what they would consider for me to do, but also non-Muslims, like the kind of stereotypes that people would consider a Muslim to look like.
That's right. Yeah.
So for me, it's about being authentic, and I try and push that message in everything I do. You know, like it's to Muslims, non-Muslims, women, Black people, whatever
Yes.
your thing is, like just be yourself and don't let stereotypes define you or put you in a small box, because I hate that. I've spent my whole life fighting.
Has that has come with challenges, I'm sure, for you? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's what happens when you're a product of this society in so many layers. You know, of course, it's a micro level with my family, you know, but even on a macro level, just being a functional citizen and trying to find your place, trying to find your connections. And, you know, I still feel peer pressure to act a certain way and look a certain way, you know, like I'm always trying to bring myself back down to what is it that brings me true connection. And I think that everyone battles with it. Being from a traditional faith or cultural background has extra elements of pressure.
yeah, exactly.
But I pick and choose what I want to connect with. And again, you just have to be rebellious. And I'm going to swear right now, but you also just have to really give a fuck. And you need to just hold that in you. And some people feel more empowered than others. I have the privilege of education and safety. So I know I've got privilege to be able to sit here and say this to you. But I'm using my privilege to try and push a really positive message.
I think, Bianca, I've fallen in love with you in the fact that I just think you are, and you've got, well, I'm a little bit, probably maybe 10 years older than you, I think. I've got a little bit more of that wisdom, which I think is going to come with you as well. And I think you're coming into it. You're coming to that time in the life where you will just completely own who you are. And that's probably when you'll become a world champion. I can see it and feel it. And because I can see just from reading about you and doing the research on you, I can see you've struggled. And I wonder if, Bianca, is it with Boxing Australia, so you've represented Australia, do you say you've found it hard in that, under the arm of Boxing Australia? Do you think that it's held against you in any way, shape or form that you're Muslim?
I don't think so much in that I'm Muslim. I think it's that I'm different and I run my own race, and I don't really like to be institutionalized by any sports commission or anything else.
Yes.
And I've tried to so much conform to these ideals and look the part and speak the part, and I just can't. I refuse to. I mean, you can't put me in a tiny little box. And so, yeah, I've had, you know, thank God, after turning professional, which I am now,
yes,
I have been able to discard amateur boxing.
Oh, so you have completely left that behind you now?
Yes. So because, well, boxing is one of the only sports where if you turn professional, you can no longer represent the sport as well. So
no, you won't be going to the Olympics. I thought you would. No. Okay.
No, so, but I will be winning a world title, which is still the aim for me. And in fact, I was going to fight for a world title, and then Corona came and ruined my plans. So rude.
So inconvenient, that damn virus. So your coach is Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is it, your relationship like with him? Because
Gary is, I really, really, you know, because I'm studying psychology at the moment, I just really understand why mentors and why like the sports people play really important role for people. And, you know, I've often called him like my dad, my uncle. I've tried to put some kind of like label on him, and he hates it. He absolutely hates it. But more than anything, Gary Hamilton has just been my mentor, and he's mentored what it is to be a good person on so many different layers. And he showed me love and consistency in a time that I didn't really have it. So I'm so incredibly grateful for him. I'd say that he is one of the bench marks for me, having so much resilience and, you know, and believing in myself, because he always believed in me. So it kind of gave me permission to believe in myself. And I think people really need those solid, grounded people in their lives, because we're all kind of seeking permission in some way or another. and often it's our own internal critic that doesn't give us our permission. So it's just a really easy pathway to get it from someone else, and then you just realize that you're actually bigger than you think you are, and that's what sports taught me.
Wow, that's profound. But for how tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
Oh, you're exactly the same height as me. We're exactly the same height. Exactly. You are a little pocket rocket.
Yeah, I'm small, but I never see myself as small. I only realize it when I look at photos. I think, Jesus, I'm so much smaller than everyone. But
yes.
such
Don't worry. I hear you. I like being small though.
I love being small. I would not change it.
You could be small with a big mouth, Bianca.
Yeah, I'm small. I've got curly hair. I don't look like everyone else, and I don't give a shit. That's fine. It's okay. I've completely accepted that. I've got a big bum. I'm small. I've got tan skin. I've got big curly hair, and all. I don't have traditional ideas of what it is to be a beautiful woman potentially, but I'm really, really grateful for that I've accepted my uniqueness.
Beauty is from within, and that you start owning as you get older. It actually comes from within, and you come across as a very beautiful girl because I can see it. It radiates out of you. The more I've researched you and read and listened to you, and I mean, you should be really proud because you do stand out. And you've got a big future ahead. And where are you now? Like, where are you training now?
So now I live on the Central Coast.
Oh, wow.
I'm studying, I'm doing a master's. So it's developmental psychology to go into a master's of social work. I'm working for an organisation called Top Blokes, which is a male mentoring program. And we go into schools and we speak to unemployed guys as well. And we speak to them about resilience, social and emotional. Yeah.
Well, you would be a fantastic mentor for young females as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to then also pivot a little bit and do some work with girls and mentoring young girls, because I really valued it growing up. I wouldn't be here today without it. So I want to be able to do that as well through my experience.
Oh, so what's been your toughest fight?
My toughest fights has been, there's just so many different kinds of fights. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to think of one that was, there's few that stand out for me. Like I was in Taiwan and I fought in the Taiwan Cup is what it was called. And I remember just getting, because it was like you win and you move forward down the line. I don't know what it's called, or you lose and then you're out of the competition completely. Yeah. So I'd won 3 consecutive, so I was getting close to the finals, which was really exciting for me. And then I just remember having to fight a Mongolian woman, and I just remember thinking, Jesus, she was just so unemotional and could spot her as maybe a boy or a girl, like just if you saw her on the street, just physically strong, looked like she worked in a field or something. And then I just remember fighting her and just thinking she's like a brick. She just I could not get through her. She was like it was a wall. So I just remember having to pull everything that I had in my stomach and then just unleash everything I had. But I beat her.
Oh, you beat her. You beat her. So I've seen it. I think it was like maybe 2014. I'm not sure where you were fighting, but I saw you take. I don't know if it was the Worlds. You took someone on, and you could clearly, for me, someone who knows boxing, I could clearly see you won. But I think it was maybe fighting a Queenslander, maybe even.
Yeah, it was a chick from Victoria. I remember.
Was it? Where was that? In Canberra, was it?
Yeah, that was in Canberra. Yeah.
But you could clearly see you won, but they gave it to. How do you cope with that? Like honestly, I was like, huh? Even just watching.
Yeah, I guess now in reflection, I can look back and go, oh, it's a really good learning experience to lose and learn what it is to not get what you want, and but at the time I had the shits. Of course you would have the shits. It was such a blatant rip off. So it was you just have to cop it because you're working with an institution, and if the institution has so many layers of bureaucracy, you just have to. There's nothing you can do. So you just internalize that stuff, and then you just create a hatred. Internalize and just create hatred.
It just seems so. It seems so unfair. Like I don't think anyone watching would go, huh?
But everyone that watched that fight, but I've been ripped off recently as well.
Have you?
Like I completely bashed this chick. It was on Foxtel. Like everyone saw it. Everyone that's in the sport who has seen me since, refs, judges, other coaches. I constantly get people that come at me that say, "My God, what happened in that fight?" And it's one of those. It's a sport that, because you're not all just finishing on a line. You're like, if you're a sprinter and
you're very winner. The clear winner is whoever gets to the line first. Yep.
Yeah, but the boxing is just based on what the judge has looked at. Maybe he likes your style. Maybe he thinks that the girl is pretty. Maybe he's had a late night or had an argument with his wife the day before. Like, you don't know. There's so many elements, and so it's really based on an opinion, and people's opinions are fickle, and you just don't know what. Yeah. So
I thought it was all on scoring. I thought it was all on point score. Like,
well, yeah, but it's all based on people. But the benchmark is just different for everyone. And they could, I could say that person is the clear winner, and then the person next to me could argue against it. It's subjective. That's what I'm trying to say.
So I also see you were on an SBS show, Muslims and Us. How was that? So was that like you all put in a house together? I actually really love the concept. So you all put in a house together, all from different
coronavirus, but for Muslims only.
And how was that? Because there you are.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was great because I'm quite a deep thinker, and I love to get into these conversations. And I feel a bit starved living on the Central Coast sometimes because, I'm not getting into deep conversations at the pub often, or, at the local Woolworths. I'm not speaking about the concept of spirituality or anything like that, which I'm sure there are people that, I don't want to completely discredit the Central Coast, but it was just acutely stuck in this house. We're all got a camera on us 15 hours a day. Wow. We've got people who are just so intensely passionate about Islam. So we were talking every single detail you can ever think of, 24 hours a day. So it was for 11 days.
Can you explain to me who's, I want to learn from you. What conversations, what do some of the other women that were in that house, what did they, because for me it comes across as, I don't know if it's my ignorance or that they're a little bit repressed. What do you have in the conversation? Like, you're certainly not. You are just out and proud and who you are. You just own who you are. You own Bianca Bam Bam. Where did Bam Bam come from, actually?
Oh, it was a Flintstones.
Flintstones was Bam Bam, like Bam 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 Bam.
Yeah. Like,
sorry, but I just thought of that then. But what? Tell me give me an insight into a really devout Muslim woman.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what it is that you're judging, because it's all judgment statements that we all do. We all have
absolutely. I'll admit that.
People who are devout or non-devout, everyone's just. I feel like everyone's just trying their best with the information that they have. Some people hold on to their beliefs a lot stronger than others, but we all have beliefs about who we are in this earth, what our values are, what is good, what is bad. So I really respect people who are devout to anything, obviously don't shove it down my throat. And at times living in the house, I was getting a bit frustrated because sometimes there's a sense of entitlement when people think that they're very pious, and it really shits me. But you get that in every field, like politics, anything. So I think, I know I've met so many Muslims who are really committed to their faith, and they think that we're repressed, we hold on to these ideals of what it is to be beautiful. We've got so much pressure to the point where women, and I've learned this in psychology, experience so much self-esteem issues growing up, a lot more than men, because we've got these really limited beliefs about what is considered beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And Islam is really empowering in that it isn't about an external focus of beauty. It's about your practice and how good of a person you are. And so wearing the headscarf for a lot of women is very empowering. And it takes away these really superficial ideals of what it is to be beautiful based on big corporations that are just making money on your insecurities anyway. They're creating insecurities and they're telling you that you now need to buy these products to be beautiful. They're just making a shitload of cash. You're feeling like you're insecure and you need to go get bloody lip surgery now.
That's right.
Or get extra kits. And the whole point, I just think it's really beautiful that as a Muslim woman, you can just wear the headscarf and you don't have to conform to these really superficial ideas. I think they don't know what's up.
Yeah, exactly. They cover. I hear you, and I think that's, you're going to be, and you are, a really good role model for young girls, because these, sadly, young girls are. I'm very blessed that I grew up not in the times of Instagram and all these selfies. They just think they've got to look like a line on their face, no smile lines. And as you can see, I'm completely natural, and I speak up about that. That's me. I don't feel like I have to do anything to my face. Everybody is going to get old. All of us. Aging is an absolute pleasure, and we're blessed to be able to age, because some people don't even get the chance.
Stayed alive enough to be able to.
That's exactly. And these lines are laughter lines and lifelines, because I've had such a great life. So there's all these girls, they're in their 20s and they're getting Botox, and because they think they see a picture and think that's how you've got to look for these big. It's something I just don't understand. And so I think that's brilliant that you're speaking out. Because beauty.
And sometimes it's really tough for me as well, because I feel like I need to conform to a certain ideal as well of what it is to be a female athlete and what it is to present myself. And and I'd say that a lot of girls experience the same thing as well. And unless you're fulfilling some like made up version of you can feel a bit isolated. And sometimes I do feel like that, like I'm always trying to, whatever it is I'm putting out, I'm always like, okay, is this aligned to, is it aligned to my values? And sometimes it's like, I don't know if I'm even doing it right, because there's a lot of peer pressure. There's so much pressure to look and act and say certain things. And I'm still trying to navigate that space. It's difficult for me.
You are. I can see. I really enjoy watching your Instagram with you training. You train, you dance. I just love you. I know how hard boxing training is, and it's incredible focus. It's fast twitch muscles. It's so much strength work. And you and your trainer, like you're off on your run and he's dancing in front of the camera. It's actually a real comical thing to watch. Did you know that when you're off, he was doing his dance moves?
He sent me the video and he goes, "Oh, is this all right? I hope it's not too much for me." I'm like, "Nah, it's great."
So are you rubbing off on him?
Because he's already Nathan.
He's already.
Nathan is a hyperactive as man. He's like me. We got same energy spaces.
Same.
And he's cheeky and he doesn't care. I like it. That's what I'm like as well.
So how often are you training? How many days a week? How many hours?
At the moment, it's 3 days a week, because I'm just getting back into being in the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So I can't believe I would even say that. Like, it's just so surreal still that sentence even comes out of my mouth. Yeah, the coronavirus. So I didn't train or anything when I was in lockdown. So I'm feeling very unfit at the moment. So we're just building blocks. But at the moment it's raining. I was actually going to go train straight after this, but we're aiming for 3 times a week.
Right. Okay. And then when will your next fight be scheduled? You don't know now until this is all over, all the COVID-19?
Yeah. So we're just waiting, because the promoter will only put on the show if he's able to get audience. So he's just waiting for the New South Wales Sports Commission to give him the go ahead. And then there's a few dates. He's got one in August already, apparently. So potentially August or September. But it really depends on what happens now in the public. But within the next few months is the aim.
Wow.
For the world title.
For the world title.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Can you see it? Are you starting to put on your vision board like you getting the world title? Has there been another female that has a world title, Australian female?
There has been in the professionals, there has been.
Mm-hmm.
In the amateurs, they haven't, as of yet. Not number one. So there's different sanctioning bodies. So I hope to get a few different sanctioning body titles. And if I could get it this year, that would be amazing.
It would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's just about trying to get my fitness up now, and then then I'm also studying and working and all that other stuff. So I just gotta just do things.
What about boys?
Oh yes, I've got
What's
a partner.
going on with boys? Oh, you've got a partner.
Yeah, so we live together. So
is that new or that's been?
Probably like 2 years or so.
2 years. So it's getting pretty serious.
Yeah. And he's very supportive and is supportive of my training. He believes in me. He thinks I'm going to win.
I think you're going to win, and I'm really glad to hear that. He believes in you too.
Yeah.
So 2 years. So he doesn't box himself. Is he?
Nah, but I've taught him some stuff. So he's been a good training partner sometimes. Because you got to always work on your defense work when you're boxing. So I've just had him throw punches to my head and just for me to try and use my head and stuff.
Had him throw a few punches at my head. Bianca, have you been really badly injured?
I've just in my kickboxing was probably the worst injury. I got a broken leg when I fought. But in boxing,
which bone?
It was my fibula or the smaller bone.
Okay, I was going to say not your femur. I thought you were going to say femur, and I was like, God.
No, and I didn't even know that it was broken until a few days afterwards.
Oh, that sounds like you. I've
So
got a bit of a sore leg. Oh yeah, my leg's broken. You're so tired.
I don't trust myself now, like when I get an injury, because I just don't know how serious it is because my pain threshold is too high. So the fact that I walked around for 5 days on a broken leg didn't even know scares me a bit.
You are
so I think I've fractured. Yeah, I definitely have fractured my hand. Well, I went to Malta and I was sparring a girl that just had no defense and was just punching her so many times on the top of her head because one of my favorite punches is a bowl over, and I was just getting her so many times on probably the wrong part of her skull. So I think I fractured I've 100% fractured my thumb. And then I think I fractured my nose as well because my trainer was sparring me, Gary Hamilton, who's a lot bigger than me, and uppercut.
And he did an uppercut and broke your nose.
And
thanks.
Serious injury was from my own coach, and I'll never let him put that down.
Oh no! What he'll say? Well, you didn't duck, did he? You didn't duck.
Yeah. He just made up something told me it was to benefit me, but I've had that. I've got a little bit of a nose now, so I'm a bit nervous of that.
Well, now you look like a boxer.
Yeah, I don't want to look like a boxer. I'm actually really proud of. I'm really proud of myself that I've worked on my defense and I've got, like you can see me. I practically look like a supermodel. So
you are. You look like Cindy Crawford. You look like Cindy Crawford, a young Cindy Crawford.
She was brown.
A 5'2" Cindy Crawford.
Yeah, so I've really valued defense work. There's two different fighters. You've got a boxer and you've got a fighter. And so one uses their head as a defense and the other one uses feet and reaction speed. So you want to be a boxer. So you want to use the fine skill of boxing, use strategy, hit and don't get hit. And I've really spent quite a lot of time working on my defense and not getting my face smashed in.
Oh, thank goodness, because you got a pretty face. So you don't want to get your face smashed in. But I think you're too quick. I watch you. You're very, very fast. You're so fast on your feet.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time on that, on my footwork. Footwork is my number one thing. It's more important than anything else that I work on.
And you obviously love music, because you've always got, in footage I've watched you've always got headphones on. So is that something you do when you're off training? You've just got music in your head? And
I do. I love music. Music is my number one. It's not so much music. I just love dancing. Dancing is as important. If I wasn't a boxer, I would have been a dancer 100%. And it's like what I didn't really. It's I can hear sounds so easily. So I love beat. I love moving to. I love having rhythm, and it probably allows me to tap into my feminine energy without me even realizing that's what it's been my whole life. But it's one way I really connect with that.
So what if there's a song that you would say, oh, this is me, like your friends, everyone will go, oh, this is so Bianca, this song? What song?
It's probably anything that's got a drum, like Brazilian music, music, anything that's got a drum, but like anything that I can bring my...
So a little bit soulful. Soulful and drum and bass. You like drum and bass, and
I love anything that's got a really good beat. I can just move my body to. I really, now that I'm thinking about it, straight after this I'm dancing.
And everyone that's listening, have a look at Bianca's Instagram, because you can see her in between training, like she's doing flurries of punches, and then she's like moving, she's dancing. It's actually a real pleasure to watch. And the documentary Bam Bam, when did that get filmed? Because I saw in that also that I think you went for an amateur world title and you lost. And I found it quite difficult to watch you work through being, I don't know where you were. Were you in Russia or somewhere? Or
I was in
Kazakhstan. And you were like, I lost. And you're just laying there going, I don't want to go back to the hotel. I lost. And I watched you deal with that. And you said, you obviously your mind wasn't there. You were working out why you lost.
Yeah.
Does that make you you massively learn from your mistakes, or that you weren't focused? Or because I could see I can see you're not used to losing. I think that's a big lesson. You've moved from there.
Yeah, I hate losing. I'm very competitive. I hate it so much. But then you put yourself at risk every time you do it. You've got the risk. It's 50-50. Like you can win or lose. And reflecting on that time as well, I'm just more than anything, I'm just really hard on myself, and it's unfair because if anything, we've watched that video of me fighting that chick, this Indian. She was the Indian champ, and I beat her. I beat her. And again, it comes back to the judging, the politics of the organisation, who they want to push through. There's just so many different areas that you don't have control over. So, but the way in which I deal with failure is I internalize it, and because I put so much pressure on myself, I think that I am a bad person. So I've really had to really work really hard on inner forgiveness and compassion and all of that stuff. All that stuff doesn't come easy to me at all. Like I need to work on that all the time because
everyone does, Bianca. Everyone does.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself out there more than it takes a lot of guts to get in a ring, and especially as a female too. Like how do do you have friendships with male boxers in Australia, like that are there championing for you, like go Bianca? Like do you have friendships?
Oh yeah, I mean when I first started boxing there were only guys. There was
right.
Only now have I had a female partner to train with, but the entire boxing experience for me in the last 10 years has been only men, and I've had to adjust just being with men training partners, men coaches, male promoters, all of it. They're all men. And they've been some of my biggest supporters, and they created a pathway for me to see what my potential, because there were no girls modeling that, there were numbers of girls modeling that at the time. So again, it really comes back to the coach, because the coach is the one that dictates what is right and wrong in a gym, so if you got good energy, a good coach that believes in you, that is the most important thing. And so I try to do that now for others when I coach them as well.
Great. Any boxers that you really admire?
I do really look up to Katie Taylor, and you'll probably have lots of people that say that, because she's just one that's just stepped out, and she had a lot of support, definitely, and she's in a country where boxing is the sport. It's really difficult in Australia because it's not a recognised sport, really, like it's a peripheral sport, and people really don't care for it much. So it's pretty hard to get just general understanding and support when you're talking about it. So Katie Taylor is great. She's also someone that runs her own race, and she's authentic to herself. She doesn't play some hypersexualized version of herself and sticks it on like that. That for me is really important. I hate that stuff. So
okay, yeah. So we won't be seeing any Bianca Bam Bam in her bikinis on her Instagram. Just you fighting and
I think so.
Doing combination punches, 20 combination punches.
Yeah, but then there's another side of me as well that is highly sexualized.
Yeah.
I like playing her as well.
I've seen you doing a few sexy moves on camera, dancing around.
I just don't want it to be my main core card. I'm Bianca Elmir, and I've got tits, and I'm a girl, and please can you like my really sexy photos? I don't need to get likes in that way, and I refuse to, and I don't want to. I'm not going to do it ever. Does that mean that I have to be hyper masculine and show feminine qualities or anything? Nah, I'm just desperately trying to be authentic, and everyone's version of authenticity is their own thing, and it's a very individualized experience. I just don't want to be a cliche version of myself.
No, and you are being authentic, and you are being Bianca Elmir. You really are. And I can say, not knowing you before, I just came across you and researched you and went, this is someone I really, really want to help promote and get your message out there, because I think you are going to be a world champ. You're going to be it. I can see. As soon as I saw you, I thought, you're going to hear it here on Pure Grit. Bianca Elmir, Bam Bam, is going to be world champion. You're going to do it. 100%. I just see it. You've got it.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it.
You're one of them. You are enough, Bianca. You've got it. You've got what it takes.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
And you believe it.
I'm going to get it this year, and then I'm going to use it as a platform to do other really positive stuff, because that's more important than me than just getting belts and trophies and that.
Exactly.
That's what I do. It just, otherwise it's meaningless. I don't even know where half my trophies are of all the years of boxing. I think I put it in a box somewhere at my mum's house, but all of those things are meaningless unless you are connecting with something wider than, bigger than yourself. So I'm just really wanting to use it for positive change in my community in one way or another. I don't know how that is, but yeah, creating connection to something positive.
I really admire you, Bianca. I really do. I really like you. And I think everyone, if they, is there anything you would like anyone listening to watch? Do you want them to watch your documentary? Where do you want them to find you and follow you and send their, yes, I'm going to watch Bianca become world champion? Where would you like to send the listeners to get to know you?
Yeah, well, definitely just follow me on my stuff. I'm getting a website in order, and hopefully that will happen in the next couple of weeks. But for now, I've got my little Instagram, which I'm probably the most active on.
That's how I found you. That's how I found you.
Yeah, I need to do more stuff with that. I don't really speak to my people enough, but I will. I've got Facebook. I've also got Bianca Bam Bam, the movie, which is what you're talking about, and that's available to watch on DocPlay.
Yeah, that's where I watched it. I watched it on Vimeo, actually.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So it's
a member or anything?
I think you can rent them. You can rent it. You can,
Oh,
download
right.
it.
Yeah.
So it was. I really enjoyed it. I got to know you, and
Yeah, you
that
definitely get to know.
you really get to know you as you, and your
Yeah.
mum. You see your mum
Yeah.
sitting there with her hijab, is it?
Yeah.
And then you, and it's sort of like, wow, you really have it, Bianca. You just stand out. You're just owning who you are, and I can see you've got a really good relationship with your mum, and she's such a big supporter. I can see it. I know you might have gone through those times that we all go through with our mum, but I can see she believes in you.
Oh, she definitely she has she loves me. She definitely loves me.
Absolutely.
And we're getting that relationship is probably improving all the time now. It's improving and it's mending, and there's quite a lot in the backdrop, and and my mum came to visit me, which was really beautiful, and so she's showing me lots and lots. Probably the most support she's ever shown me is happening now. So it's really lovely.
Oh, that's beautiful. And so, do you go to the mosque?
I haven't gone to the mosque in ages, but actually it was just Ramadan recently, and my mum has a radio station in Canberra, so she was just running this radio station throughout Ramadan.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good. And also it's a 24-hour radio station, and so the whole month. And this was one of the first Ramadans in a long time that I've actually fasted the whole month.
Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't have any training or anything, which has usually been a barrier for me, but I was fasting from sunrise to sunset, and you just don't eat or drink any water. And that's all through daylight hours. And it was one of the most challenging spaces, but one of the most rewarding spaces I've ever had. It's amazing. It's so beautiful.
And you do that for the whole month?
Yeah, so for the 1 month every year. And I plan to still do that, hopefully, if God wills. On Fridays are really important days for Muslims, so I want to be able to do that on a Friday. And it just, that level of sacrifice and mindfulness, because you're not using food and water, liquid as distractions from your internal world. Like a lot of people kind of subconsciously just keep eating and drinking, and when you're not even...
Oh, exactly. You're not even thinking. Yeah.
And fasting forces you to be really mindful, and because you're sacrificing something, you're connecting with God a lot, because it can be hard, and you're doing that for what it is, to appreciate everything that you have in your life, to be grateful, to remember what it is to be disadvantaged, to not have access to food and water, and to know that you're a part of a bigger community as well. So it's absolutely beautiful. I'm really happy. And
because you would have fasted to get to a certain weight in boxing. Surely you would have been, can't eat, I've got to make weight.
Yeah. And it's a completely different experience when you're doing it for spirituality. So beautiful. It's something you can just push through pain. I mean, you can push through pain when you're doing it to make a weight division as well, but it's just kind of like self-serving. Whereas when you're doing it for faith, you're doing it for something greater than yourself. And it's that part of it's really empowering.
Wow. Bianca, is there a life motto that you get up out of bed for? Like, is there a favourite saying or something that drives you?
Yeah, so I've been saying this thing. One of my friends, like my godmom's friends, had written this thing out. She had a modelling agency. She used to give it to all the models, and it was this thing that said, I believe in love, I believe in life, and I believe in myself. And it's just such a beautiful, I don't know what it does for me personally. It just lifts me and reconnects me to things that are outside of myself. I just love, and it's love, so
it is
belief. So I really love that. I also say, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Oh my gosh, that's my saying. Bianca, I say that to my son. I say, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's amazing that just came out of your mouth. That is one of I have said for many, many years. And you do it. Yeah. You feel the fear and you get in there and do it anyway. And my exactly what I say. Feel the fear, do it anyway. In anything, that's in anything in life. Like what I'm even doing now with a podcast, I feel the fear and I think, oh gosh, is it going to be good? You know what? I'm going to do it. This is what I believe in. I want to get people like your story, Bianca, out to a whole new audience and I've done it my whole career, and it can inhibit you if you don't go with the fear. Putting yourself out there, there's always fear. But
yeah, definitely.
The reward is doing it anyway, and you go, hey.
Yeah, just owning it, like just knowing that everyone feels it, so
everybody
just
does.
go and just know that you'll handle it anyway, regardless of it. Like you'll handle whatever comes at you, you'll handle it. And so I try and follow that up with feel the fear and do it anyway, and I'll handle it, whatever comes. And also I've been trying to say to myself just recently, I give myself permission to fill in the space, because our own limitations are often some belief about not being allowed to do something that was either told to us or, social value, society telling us in some way or another. So just giving yourself permission and giving that a voice and using the word permission. I give myself permission to talk to you today, or say what I feel, or try, attempting a master's or whatever comes.
And good on you, Bianca. Like, thank you so much for coming, giving me your time, because, I just approached you because I found you and I really admired you. I thought, well, there's something about this girl. You've got something to teach. There's a lesson, you're doing your internal lesson, but you've got a lot to give and a lot to teach, and you are tough. You're not coming at me with a flurry of punches, which I'm actually lucky, because I wouldn't take you on. You are full of grit. You are pure grit. You are it. And I'm blessed to have met you, and you're breaking stereotypes, which I love, and you're just being you. And that sometimes can come with the challenges. Like I've been the same throughout my life and my career, but you know what? I've always been true to myself.
Yeah. And I think it's about just trying as much as you can to be fluid and not trying to stay too stagnant in one space or one belief system. That's something I'm really learning recently, is your ability to adapt and change the story sometimes. Sometimes your stories are old and they don't even serve you anymore. So
let them go.
Just trying to move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go. And I saw you marching in Mardi Gras. Now that is breaking stereotypes, Bianca.
Yeah, that was great.
You are just the best. I've actually been in Mardi Gras as well. So when I saw you do that, holding, I just thought, good on you. Because that is just...
Yeah, well, I want to give them... It's not like the stereotype that Muslims don't support.
Yeah.
The LGBTQI community is bullshit. That's bullshit. Yeah. That's not the case at all. There are Muslims that support. And I have Muslim friends who are gay, and I support them 100%. And, obviously non-Muslim friends as well. But
I love you for that. I just bow down to you, because you are out there breaking those stereotypes. And Bianca, I can't wait. I will be there no matter where. If I have to watch Foxtel, whatever, I will be watching that fight. And I will be having probably a drink in my hand, cheering for you and doing my, I'll be doing my uppercuts like for you. And I actually dreamt last night, because it's been a while, because I actually have a bit of problem with my hands and neck and stuff at the moment. I dreamt about boxing last night. I had the feeling.
Oh, wow.
It's because of you. And I was dreaming like, so when I went for my run this morning, I was doing a bit of, as I was running along, in your honor. I'm going to get back. Even if I get back a bit lightly, I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm going to do it for you.
Are you in Brisbane? I'll train you if I come up.
On the Sunshine Coast.
That's quite far away.
It's not from Brisbane. I'll come down. It's only an hour.
Yeah, I'll do a little training session with you.
I would love that. We'll film it and we'll do some dance moves as well.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Bianca.
I'll hit you up when I come up.
I would love that. It's an absolute honour to meet you, and thank you for getting your message across, and thank you for being you and honouring you, because you are someone who is just not afraid to own your being, and I just love it. That's something I have I watched and just went, you know, I actually really, I'm a fan. I can honestly say I'm now a fan of Bam Bam, Bianca Bam Bam. Like, I really am.
And
I'm a
it's
fan.
not even that I don't fear it. It's just I do fear it, but I just do it anyway.
Good on you. Good on you.
Yeah.
And okay, if you get off this podcast right now, what song would you be dancing around at your place to? What song?
Yeah, Jesus. All right. I'm really loving Solange, the Beyonce's sister.
Ah,
Yeah,
see, soulful. You're soulful.
Yeah, I'm really liking her. I'll probably put her on now.
You got the moves. Thank you, Bianca. Anka, will you chat to me when you become world champ, please?
Yes, of course.
I'll
charge
sure?
you. But
you'll charge me? Oh, no, I might not be able to afford you.
Just
Thank you, Bianca. Thank you for being on Pure Grit.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, all you YouTube fans, thank you. I'm new to YouTube, but thank you. Subscribe, like, share. I'm really grateful that you're stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed Bianca Bam Bam Elmir. Next week, though, we have Jimmy Reeves, aka Jimmy Giggle. He was on a kid show, Giggling Hoot. But Jimmy Reeves is he's fantastic. I really think you'll like this. See you then. Stay tuned.